Hi, I'm Brad McIntosh, and I've been cooking on various houseboats and resorts in Canada and the United States for the last 10 to 12 years. Tonight, I'm going to show you how to prepare 8 different wild game recipes, plus we're going to debone a northern and lake trout for you. The first thing we're going to do is make dessert. And while we're making dessert, I always stick an apron on, or I always put an apron on when I'm cooking, because if you're as dirty as I am, and I'm sure you people will probably be worse, and you don't like to wash clothes, so you better make it as easy on you as possible. Now, dessert is real easy. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to get a cup of flour, a half a cup of walnuts, a quarter cup of brown sugar, and a half a cup of melted margarine. Now, by the melted margarine, all I want you to do is take 2 quarter sticks of butter, stick it in a pot, put it on the stove on low heat, and just let it melt. Now, don't put it on high heat or you're going to burn it, and then you're going to have to do it again. So put it on nice low heat, melt it real nice and slow, and then combine everything in a bowl. And then at that point, you're going to want to take and put it in a 350-degree oven. At this point, it will be on a cookie sheet, and you'll be stirring it constantly. Now, stirring constantly, I mean take a wooden spoon, go over the cookie sheet, spread it around a little bit, because if you don't do it, it's going to burn, and then you're going to have to do it all over again. Now, the end result will look like this, a nice brown crumbly crust, and that's all it is your crust. So at this point, we've got our crust already made, and we're going to take and we're going to put it right in the bottom of the baking dish. You get a nice even crust there. You're putting it all over like this. You just want to sprinkle it around. Real easy recipe. Delicious too. It's nice in the summertime. It's frozen dessert. You can do it the night before, which is the best thing about this, because you people will probably all be in chaos anyways that day that you're getting ready to cook for these people. So what we did is, see how easy that was? We made that crust. Now, for the second step, what we're going to do is take 2 cups of powdered sugar, which I've already put in the bowl. We're going to take 2 eggs. Easy. You guys are all going to be excellent cooks. Your wives are going to love you. She won't have to come home and cook. You'll have a meal all ready for her. Then you're going to take half a cup of softened margarine. Now, what I did was I put it out and put it by the fireplace so it's nice and soft. You stick that in there. Just stir it up a little bit so that you got that powdered sugar. It's just fluffy, and you'll be going and putting a mix master or a beater in there, and you'll have powdered sugar all over the house. So the easiest way to do it is just take and go like this a little bit. Then, after you do that, take a beater. We'll beat it up a little bit just to make it a little bit smoother and keep the lumps out. Okay, so we've got that. Now, we take the beater, put it on low. Okay, so you don't want to blend it very much. All we're doing is just getting the butter softened and the powdered, everything combined is all we're doing. Okay, then watch it when you take the beaters out, or you're going to have that all over too. So, then we'll put that there like that. And then we're going to take this, just spoon it onto the crust. Real easy. You guys are going to be amazed at what you can do. Okay, put it in a couple spots so you don't have to be moving it all over. Pretty simple. You can use a spatula or a wooden spoon. It doesn't matter. I like wooden spoons better. Okay, then see how that sticks like that? That's no problem. That's just the bottom of your crust. Then go like this. Keep doing this. Okay, another little trick I'm going to tell you is, if you're having problems, you might want to take a spoon and just take it and dip it in a little bit of water. Now, then the water, what it's doing is forming a coat so that it doesn't stick to the butter, for the butter and the powdered sugar mixture, so it doesn't stick. Then, the next step, another easy one. We're going to take a couple bananas. Now, I've made it easy here, but I'm going to show you what to do. You just cut some bananas up. Now, I like bananas, so what I want to do is I want to put a lot of bananas in there. I call this dessert a banana split dessert. It's just like a banana split that you'd get at a Dairy Queen or some ice cream place. Of course, they're going to call them maybe different things, but I think it's better. Now I'll cut another banana up. I like big chunks, so what the heck, put them in big. Doesn't matter. You can lay them down, you can stand them up, just so that everybody gets a piece, at least one banana. Okay, so there we go. There, see how easy this has been? Okay, now we're going to add some strawberries. That's real easy. I got 2 packages of frozen strawberries. I thawed them out. I've put them in a bowl, and now we're just going to dip them over here. I like strawberries. If you got fresh ones in the summertime, that's really nice. Got all this juice. Oh, delicious. Like I say, you get them nice big fresh ones in the summertime. Oh, it's unreal. Just excellent. So, just keep putting it over there. Don't put all that juice in there. Just get the frozen strawberries. That's basically all that you want. Now we're going to take 1 small can of crushed pineapple. Now, if you don't like pineapple, don't put it in. But I love all this. This is one of my favorite desserts. Okay, just spread it around. Nice and easy. Like I say, make sure everybody gets a little taste of everything. Okay. There we go. Look at that. Doesn't that look good? Okay, now for one of the last 2 final stages, you grab a package of your favorite frozen topping mix and just put it on top. Real easy. Oh, I can hardly wait till this is ready to eat. Just put it on. Just smother it in whipped cream. Oh, doesn't that look good? Then, smooth it out. Doesn't that look like a banana split? Oh, it's got to be good. And just smooth it around the edges and cover everything up. Okay. Then what we're going to do is take just a little bit of that crust, sprinkle on the top, and voila, it's done. Put it in the freezer. Let it freeze for about 6-8 hours. Like I say, you can put it in the night before. It's not going to hurt it to freeze anymore. There, now doesn't that look good? While I'm putting this in the freezer, you can get your pens and pencils out and jot this recipe down and be prepared for the second one. Okay, now we're ready for the second part of this. What we're going to do is cook about 2.5 cups to 3 cups of raw wild rice. And what I've done is, it's real simple. We're going to just take, I've got 3 different kinds of wild rice here to show you what I've done, what the differences in the wild rice. But first of all, I've taken 1 cup of raw wild rice and I've put it in a pot of hot water. But before I did that, I took it in this pot here and I put it in some medium temperature water, warm water, and I just stirred it up with my hands and got a little bit of the excess hulls from the processing off. The rice that I get is naturally grown in Minnesota and parts of Canada. Now the rice that you'll be getting in the stores, I'd be willing to bet there's a good chance that it's paddy rice. Now my rice isn't paddy rice. The difference with paddy rice and natural rice is that the paddy rice is grown like in a big paddy and it's commercially harvested. This is harvested by friends of mine who go out and get it annually. And now what I've done is, after washing that a little bit, I've just taken, putting a cup in this boiling water, and I just let it boil a couple times. Now you're going to have to change the water maybe 2 or 3 times while it's cooking, but as you're doing that, you'll see that my rice is getting the water is getting a little bit dirty. I'm going to show you a couple of the differences in wild rice. Now here's 3 different kinds that I've got. The one kind, which is my favorite, which you'll probably never ever find it in a store, is hand-parched wild rice. And that's the way the Indians used to process it a long time ago. And I'm lucky enough to have one friend who still does it. Now what they do in that process is they take a big iron kettle and they heat it over a fire and stir it with a paddle. And then as it keeps burning and getting the old hull off, it kind of has a tendency to pop. And that's what you're doing when you're cooking the rice, is you're making it pop and fluff out. Now when they're done burning it over the fire and in this big kettle, then they take it in a big sieve-like, or a colander. I'll call it a colander, but what it is a big basket, and they just throw it up in the air and let the wind blow all the garbage off of it, which I'm referring to garbage as the excess hulls and stuff, which you'll never see because you'll be getting the other kinds of rice, which is these two kinds. And this is some store-bought stuff that I just picked up in a local supermarket, and this is the kind that I've bought from a friend of mine this Christmas. Now, after we do all this, we're going to throw this into the wild rice soup, and then we're going to cook another little batch, and we're going to put that in a hot dish. Okay, we're ready for recipe number 3. Now what we're going to do is make wild rice soup. And the first step for wild rice soup is to get about a pound, 3/4 of a pound of the favorite kind of bacon that you like. What we're going to do, is I've already got mine frying, is cut up this bacon into about 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch pieces. And then we're just going to cook them up in the frying pan. And now if you get pieces that have a lot of fat on them like that, and you got the whole pound that looks like that, don't use it. Just cut that off and throw it away. You don't want that. I mean, the basis of the soup is the bacon grease, but you can get a little too much. Okay, now I've got all my bacon frying here, and then it's nice and crisp. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add about 1 medium onion. Now there's 1 medium onion all cut up. Now what I've done, that's 1 nice onion now. Stir that up a little bit. And oh, that's smelling so good. Makes me hungry. And if you're real hungry and you're doing this around breakfast time, you can always take this and make an omelet or Denver sandwich or whatever. You got to keep eating while you're cooking. Never go hungry. Okay, now we need about 2½ cups of celery. Okay, so here's about 1½ cups. And here's another cup. Oh, got a few onions, but that's all right. You don't have to worry about the ingredients with this one. It's real easy. Everything's cut and dried in here. Now what we're doing is we're just sauteing this so the celery and the onions get a little bit browned. The celery will get nice and green, is what I guess what I'm trying to say. The onions will get clear. And at that point, then we're going to add the juice from 1 can of mushrooms and 2 cans of cream of mushroom soup and 2 cans of cream of celery soup, a few cans of water, and some chicken bouillon. You can use chicken broth if you had chicken at home and you've made some broth. That's fine to use that, or you can just use bouillon cubes. But I find that the instant bouillon is the easiest. Now this is getting just about done. See, it doesn't take very long, only a couple minutes. Now, oh, that's smelling so good. I'm ready for an omelet right now. Okay, now we can take and add 1 can of mushrooms. The end of the mushrooms there, we've got all them in there. Oh, this is just smelling delicious. You can use fresh mushrooms if you want. And now I'll show you what this looks like. Doesn't that look good? See what I mean about the green of the celery? It's just starting to turn a nice bright green. Okay, then we'll just stir that and let that simmer for a couple of seconds. Reminds me, talking about fresh mushrooms, I go out picking every spring and fall about 4 or 5 different kinds of mushrooms. I'll be throwing some morel mushrooms in with this mousse and wine sauce, and those are one of my favorites. Now, don't just go out in the woods picking any mushrooms. Get a book and find somebody who knows what they're doing before you go picking mushrooms. I've been taught by a few old guys who took me out in the woods and have showed me a lot of different kinds, and I just enjoy it and look forward to it in the spring. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to add the 2 cans of cream of mushroom soup and the 2 cans of cream of celery. Real easy. And then save a can, because that's easy measuring. We're going to add milk and stuff later on, but that's the last part of it, and you don't want to be boiling the milk because it'll make it curdle or separate. See how easy this soup is? These people that are coming over are just going to be flabbergasted at what you've done here. Okay, piece of cake. There's another can. Okay, And you can use any kind, any brand that you want. It doesn't have to be one certain brand. Okay, there we go. Now just stir that up a little bit. Oh, this is smelling so good. Okay, we've added the soup, the 2 cans of cream of mushroom and the 2 cans of cream of celery soup. We're just stirring it. We're just getting this a little bit warm. We're going to let this sit on the stove and simmer for about an hour. First, we're going to add a couple cans of water, and we're going to put the wild rice in there too. Okay, that looks nice. Now see how nice that is? Oh, you could eat it right now. It gets to be a real nice thick soup when you're done. All right, so we'll take and we'll add, now I cooked 1 cup of raw rice, which equaled about 3 cups of cooked rice. Just take that, add that in there. Oh, looks delicious. I'm hungry already. Okay, put that over there again. Stir that up. Oh, I think I could eat a bowl right now. But it gets so much better. At the end there, we're going to add a little bit of Parmesan cheese, some soy sauce, some milk, and some half and half. Okay. Now, we're going to add 3 cans of water. Easy measurements. That's why I told you to save that can. There's 1. And I think I'm only going to add 2. I don't need 3 in there. I want to make this one a little bit thicker. Then I'm going to add 4 bouillon cubes, or whatever is equal to 4 bouillon cubes, about 3 tablespoons. Tells you right on the back of the jar, instant bouillon. Or you can use 1 14-ounce can of chicken broth, and then you don't have to do with that. Most of you people, that's probably what you'll do, go down and buy a can of chicken broth, but I like the bouillon. It's just as easy. Then we're just going to put this on simmer on the back burner and get ready for another dish. We'll throw a cover on this and ready to go. With the magic of television, this thing's been simmering, this soup's been simmering for about 2 hours. But you would actually start it a little bit before you do your getting ready to put your trout in. Now, the last 2 items that we put in there, the last 4 items that we put in there, is 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Just put it in there. 2 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese. Now, I told you to save that can, remember? Okay, this is what we needed it for. Easy measurement. 2 cans of milk. And I'm lucky enough to get milk in glass bottles yet. I can hardly wait for this. And then, a pint of half and half. And then you just want to let that simmer about another 45 minutes. When everything else is done, this is done. And put it on just low heat and just let it sit there and just simmer. Don't get it boiling. Just let it sit there. And it'll turn out fine. Make sure all that cheese is nice and in there. Boy, that smells good. Hardly wait to eat this. This is one of my other favorites. This, along with those Kievs, have got to be the 2 favorite dishes that I've ever eaten. Okay, now you've got a little bit of time. You just set your soup on the back burner, so that's simmering. So we'll just take a little nice, easy dish, and it's the wild rice casserole, or hot dish as we call it in Minnesota. What I'm doing is taking 3/4 of a cup of raw rice that I already cooked up, and then I'm taking a half a cup of chopped onions. Put that in there, and then I love bacon, so I put bacon on almost everything. I put about half a pound of bacon, stirred it up, and then about a half a can of sliced water chestnuts. I know you're going to go to the store and get sliced ones. You won't go and buy whole ones and slice them up, so that's just might as well tell you to go and get sliced ones. Then just stir that up. Add a little bit of pepper. And I don't like to cover up that taste of wild rice. That's what it's there for. Taste the wild rice. Okay, I'm going to stir this a little bit. Just get everything mixed around. add a third of a stick of butter. And then you just put that in the oven. That's one of your last dishes. We'll stick that in there with fish and a few of the other items that I'm going to be telling you about later on here. And we'll put about 4 items in the oven at once, and they'll all be done just about the same time. Okay, now we're going to show you probably one of the best tricks that there is for all you fishermen. It's how to take the Y bones out of trout and northern. Now we've got a big northern here that my friend Mike here is going to show you how to fillet. I think he's one of the best. There's a few different ways to take these Y bones out. And first of all, what we did was Mike gutted this fish so that we don't have to show you people all the guts on this video. But what we're going to do, Mike's going to sit here and explain this, how to do this for you. So first of all, Mike, what'd you do here? You took and gutted that thing. Now what are you going to do?
Well, I just took his dorsal fins out and gutted them, and I'm just going to slab them just down the side.
It looks like we got a nice big northern there. What is that, about an 8-pounder?
About 8-pounder. Out of your favorite trout hole, Brad?
One of my favorite trout holes. Yeah. I met Mike up at Camp Manitou this summer. I was cooking up there this summer, and met him, and he's young, but I tell you, he's one of the best I've ever seen. There's a couple different ways. Mike can fillet a trout in 35 seconds. I couldn't believe it. Well, I timed him. He did it. So now we're going to take this northern. I love baked northern. We're going to give you a recipe for it later on in the show. And look at that. Isn't that a nice fillet there?
No.
So now what?
Well, we'll start on the rib bones. Just go all the way down, make one long cut.
Just nice, and just get that tip just in there, huh?
Just to get it started. At the end here, it's just tricky to get it started. Then you can turn it around and just keep going all the way down, and take out the belly fat.
You don't want to eat no belly fat.
No, no. I go right past the bones as much as I can and take out the belly fat. Easy enough.
Boy, look at that. Wish I could do that. I can, but I ain't that good, so that's why I've got him showing you.
Now, for the Y bones, there's a line. Can you see this line all the way down? It goes right back to the tail.
Let's show these people this line here.
Okay.
Oh, I'm getting all slimy.
That's all right. Do you some good.
Yeah, all right.
Now, yeah, this line, I go right on it all the way down to about here. There's not too much Y bones at the tail. They kind of
3 inches from the tail. Huh?
Yeah, they
That's
just
pretty much the same with any size
trout
or northern.
Yeah, the bones fade away about here.
Okay.
So, but I got to turn them around this way.
All right, I'll let you.
Or I can. You can put them on an angle, and I go all the way down. Just mark the line.
So it's kind of a natural line there, then.
Yeah, go all the way down, and then just put your thumb in there, and you can feel them. I keep pulling it back with my thumb as I cut, evenly all the way down. And I just do it again. Pull it back, and then start to come up. And just keep coming up, straight up. Once you pull them back with your thumb, you can
just feel them, can't you?
Yeah, as you roll them back, you know where they end, and then you just come up to get this lip at the end here.
The Y is to the outside of the fish, right?
Right.
So
yeah, I'll take the skin off.
Boy, talk about easy.
See, next year you won't have to bother me. Go clean your own.
I'll save you for the big ones.
Yeah.
That knife's just about too small.
Yeah.
Okay, well that looks pretty nice. Look at that. That's a nice fillet there. Holy cow.
Now all you got to do now is just trim off some of that belly fat. That
you don't want to eat that.
No, you don't want to eat that, and I usually get rid of it. Most of it. And if you want a cheap way out, if the mosquitoes are bothering you and you're having a hard time, just start right here, say just a little bit below the line, and then just cut all the way down like that. You waste a lot of meat. You know, you don't have this big lip, but you get rid of all the bones.
Well, thank you, Mike. It's been a pleasure. I'm sure these people are going to find this very useful. Now we're just going to clean up this mess here, and we'll get right back to you and show you how to fillet that trout. Take the Y bones out of that too. Okay, now we're going to show you how to fillet a trout with my good friend Larry now. He's going to show you how to do this. So what are you going to do first, Larry? First of all, I see you have this glove. What are you going to do with that?
It's a handy glove to have for anyone who cleans a lot of fish. It gives you a little grip. You don't have to worry about the fish coming out of your hand. You can throw the fish around, I guess, any way you want to clean them, it doesn't matter. We'll put the glove on here. This really helps for like somebody who cooks shore lunch, and a lot of times the fish are still alive. You're chasing them. They'll run all over the table on you. Okay. So what they've done here is they've opened this fish up. They've caught this in Canada. When you bring a fish across, you're supposed to have a little section of skin left on it. This is handy in the wintertime because all you're doing is pulling the guts out of the fish and getting them out, and it keeps the meat better and fresher for that much longer. It's already cold, so you don't have any problem with keeping the meat cold in that, but you still should pull the guts out of a fish or the insides as fast as you can.
That's with all fish, huh?
Actually any wild game. The faster you get the insides out, the better I feel about it.
Okay.
Okay, then on the trout, we'll just take it right down and we'll pull the fillet off. A lot similar to the way Mike did the northern. And there's your same fillet as what he had with the northern right there. And then what we're going to do, the same thing he did, pull the ribs out, and then I'm going to take the easy cut that he explained, and I'm going to go right straight across and pull all the Y bones out in one cut.
Okay.
It's a little easier, a little faster, and you do lose a little bit of meat, but you still got a nice boneless fillet of fish.
That's the trick, is to get all the bones out. There's nothing worse than eating a fish and you picking bones out. You guys always make it look so easy. I never have that easy a time.
Yeah?
Maybe I need one of those gloves.
Glove is handy. All it is actually is a sausage cutter's mitt. And now fish and stuff, the game and that, they've come up with a lot of different varieties. They've got fiberglass mitts now that you can make.
Now you just scored that a little bit and then ripped it. Let's see.
Here's all your belly fat
I don't want that.
that you want to get rid of. Okay, then you're going to go along here and you'll feel the bones. You can hear them.
Yep.
With that mitt just pulling on there. And that's what you're trying to cut out.
So we're going right underneath that natural line that's there.
That line there, that's where your fillet breaks. That's where you get your layer of fish starting. Going both ways here, coming back, and that's where your Y bones are at. So you're going to cut down so that you come out, and you're going to try to stay underneath. If you start hearing bones cut, you want to go down a little bit deeper. Okay, see there you've taken a little bit of, you lose a little bit of your meat.
Yeah, but it's a lot faster too.
And that's what's nice about it, is it's fast. And for like me guiding and shore lunches and stuff, I can fillet out a northern and I'm not monkeying around doing all this other stuff. Okay, what we've did is we've taken all the bones out, and if you feel along there, you won't feel any bones.
No, none. None at all.
Okay, and it's quick, it's easy, and you've got a good fillet when you're done. The full fillet for somebody who wants to bake a fillet or even fry one up.
Cut it into little strips and fry it up, huh? Well, you guides make everything look so easy.
Takes years of practice, so.
Lots of fish.
Lots of fish.
I end up cooking them. I don't fillet them that much. That's your guys' job. You got one nice fillet there.
And there's your scrap.
Okay, toss that out.
And there's your trout fillet right there.
Nice orange color, so we know that was a nice one.
Mm-hmm.
The
And then
orange
you
or the
can take
meat
a
is-
little bit more of this fat off of them and trim that down. You don't need any of that. The trout is a real rich fish too.
like they're better baked, so the gristle and grease can drip off them a little
Can
bit.
come
huh?
out can come out of them a little better, yeah.
Okay. That's pretty nice. Well, thank you. I'm glad you came down, and I'm sure these people are going to take advantage of seeing all this. And
You bet.
thank you very much.
Thanks a
Now
lot,
we're
Brad.
going to get this mess cleaned up, and then we're going to get back to cooking. Okay, now we're going to cook a goose breast. We're going to debone the breast. I'll show you how to do that. But first, I just want to put this one in the pan. I've got two geese here that I've deboned. I've got a couple of them in the frying pan there. Now, let's just get this a little bit brown, then I'll show you. Just got to turn these here first. Okay, first of all, I'm going to show you how to debone a goose, because it's a nice big one I got here. And it's pretty much the same if you were going to debone or breast a chicken or a partridge or a pheasant, duck, whatever. It's all pretty basic. First of all, find the rib bone, or the breastbone, I guess. And just cut down it. And you'll feel it. Then get right down to the rib cage. And just take, and you'll feel you can see here, cut that skin off. And then I guess you get into that wishbone. Just take and cut right like that. It's just making it easier for you to get that breast off. Then just follow that along. You got to keep your fingers in there so you can kind of keep that meat away. And then just keep coming down like this. Just follow that rib cage. Real easy. Now I take the legs and the wings later, and I usually save them all, and then everybody likes chicken wings and stuff like that. Well, I make duck wings, goose wings, and all that stuff. Then I just pull the fat away, skin away. Real easy. You just take that, cut it, then let's get a little bit of that big pieces of fat off of there. You don't want that. Well, I've got one nice breast. Then you can take the little pieces that you're going to miss. I know you are. Just take little pieces like that. You can fry them up while you're doing all the rest of that. They'll be good. Then I just take the back, here, the bottom here, legs and the thighs. Go like that. And take, cut it right across here. Go like that. Then you can take these wings. Giving me a little bit of a hard time here. Guess it wants to fight. It's fighting a bad one because I'm going to win. And this wing bone is giving me a little bit of trouble there. Okay, I got that done. Then I usually just take, and don't worry too much about that. That's mostly, you can make soup out of it if you want to make duck or goose soup. That's awful good. I'll give you a recipe for that maybe in my future editions. But have to tend to this right now. Now these are I'm just browning these and getting a little bit of a crust to seal in the moisture. We're going to take these, and what I did was just add a little bit of bacon grease from all the bacon that we've been frying up. And this one's done nice here now. So we'll just put this on the platter. Leave that. Now doesn't that look nice? And now Some people like raw goose. That's a little too raw though, I think. Take this one and coat that again. We're going to just end up making a gravy out of this, and we'll be adding some sour cream later on at the very end of it. It's got chicken broth in it, and carrots, celery, onions. Boy, this was a fun hunting trip getting this one. We went up to Roseau in Minnesota here. That's right by the game refuge, and we had a good time. I got about a 12-pound goose. That's a pretty nice sized goose. And this is one of my favorite recipes here. Okay, now I'm just going to get these nice and brown. Try and get some juices there. And there. Then we're going to take these onions I've got here and all this other stuff and add it in there. First of all, we'll just let this one cook a little bit. That's good. Now we'll take this. We'll just drain a little bit of that drippings out of there. Okay, there we go. Then we'll add some onions. It's going to take these onions and get them a little bit browned. Basically what we're doing is just adding a little more flavor to everything. And we're going to take the celery. Let that cook. The carrots seem to give everything such a nice flavor. I love it in fish especially. It seems to make that fish a lot sweeter. Take that. Let that cook for a couple seconds. And we'll just throw a couple carrots in there. Okay, we're just getting this brown. The carrots we're not going to cook very much. Just want the onions basically to get a little bit in there. And take a little bit of water. Boy, that's looking good. Take a little bit of water. Just steaming it is basically what we're doing. Getting up all the flavor from the bottom of the pan. Turn the heat up. One thing about cooking, you got to constantly adjust your heat. You'll learn that as you progress on. Okay, and we'll add a can of mushrooms. We don't want the juices in here this time, so we'll just take the juices and do that. Got a little bit left in there. Sneaking in there. Okay, there we go. Little isn't going to hurt us. All right, stir that up. There, doesn't that look good? Now, we add 1 can of chicken broth. Okay. Smelling delicious. Then, add a little bit of thyme. Dash of paprika. I said a dash. Now I'm going to show you what a dash is. Oops, there's a dash. Now we're going to add just a little bit of bouillon, just a little, give it a little more flavor. Chicken broth had quite a bit, but I like to add a little bit more. So, there we go. Then, you stir this up a little bit. Then we're going to throw the breasts right in there. Just kind of stewing them is what we're doing. We're going to add sour cream later, and oh, it's delicious. There's a little one. Oh, got a nice big vegetables, a little bit of this juice in there, make it delicious. Stir that up. Let that cook for a little bit, then we'll throw a top on it. Let that cook for about an hour, and then we'll throw some sour cream in there just before the end, and she's ready to eat. Okay, now I showed you how to debone a lake trout and a northern, but this one is going to be a baked steelhead. Now my brother sent this to me from the west coast just for the purpose of this show because I like steelhead, but it's pretty tough to get in Minnesota. We can get them up on the north shore there, but it's pretty tough to get. You're very lucky if you get them this side. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a stuffing. Now I just went to the store and I bought my favorite stuffing mix. I prepared the whole package. I cooked about another cup of wild rice. I'm just going to add it to the stuffing mix. Now I got that stuffing mix from the store, and I'm just going to add some wild rice. You can add mushrooms to it. You can add more celery if you want. You can add anything that your heart desires if you like it in stuffing. Now, this is a real easy recipe. And we're just going to take this and fill the cavity of that trout. Now, the reason I got the tin foil is because I like to take that and put the trout on there and stand it up. And then all that stuffing's there, and you can just, oh, it's a lot easier. Then you don't have to do the dishes either. Okay, we'll add a little more rice. There we go. Voila. See how easy that is? Okay, now clean all this off. Now, of course, you've washed your hands all day long. There we go. That. You take the trout. It's going to go like this. Just fill it kind of loose. You can pack it a little bit, but don't have to pack it real tight because it expands when it gets done. Then I made extra. I'll just throw in a pan and put it in the oven or wrap it in tin foil. Now all you people, all these recipes, they're adaptable to the campfire or to the barbecue grill too. Now you see me using pans, but you can use tin foil, which I like to use. It makes a lot of things a lot easier. Okay, just take it, roll it back like this, and roll it on its belly. And just take this, put that in the bowl. The reason I'm putting that tin foil there is then it holds that shape so nice. You just wrap that like that, wrap that like that, put that like that, 'cause that's going to puff out. Then what we're going to do, wash your hands first, take a knife, we're just going to cut down the back. Just make a little slit. And as this is cooking in the oven at about 350 for about an hour, we'll just keep basting that all the time, about every 20 minutes or so. And then just before you take it out of the oven, put a lot of butter and lemon in there, and then it'll just soak. And there's your other dish. Now we're going to be ready. I'll show you how to make Kievs. Okay, now we're going to make some Kievs. Now it can be partridge Kievs or pheasant Kiev or chicken Kiev, it doesn't matter. But this is one of my favorite recipes. This one my brother gave me. And what I'm going to do is I'll show you once again real quick how to debone that partridge. Now I just got a partridge. I made that slit down the middle, right down the breastbone there. Took it, followed the rib cage like that. See how easy that is? You all know you can do that. If not, just keep watching that tape. You'll get it done. And just pick it up. And I melted about half a cup of butter. I showed you how to melt that before. And then I'm going to dip it in about 3/4 of a cup of breadcrumbs, which I combined with parsley and Parmesan cheese, garlic salt, and basil. This is probably the easiest one you'll ever do, but I think it's the best Kiev recipe there is. You just take that, put that like that, do this. See how easy this is? Then we're going to cook them. They'll be done in no time. Then we're going to make a quick sauce. You can use apple juice or white wine. Now I prefer the white wine, but you can use the apple juice. Now, philosophy for me with cooking with wine is if you don't want to drink it, then don't cook with it. So I'm saying that it should be a pretty good quality to cook with because you can taste the difference. So then what I've done is I've just got a good bottle of dry white wine, and apple juice works just as good, but that's what's going to be in the sauce. Okay, now this is the last one, so we're just going to coat that in there. Get that nice and coated. Then we're going to make the sauce. Real easy. Real easy. We're going to take that 1/4 cup of chopped dry onions, 1/4 cup of parsley, and like I said, you can use a dry white wine or you can use apple juice. Apple juice works just as good. And we're going to put about 1 1/4 cups. That's about it. Then you just want to stir that up a little bit, heat it a little bit. Doesn't have to be heated much. And then the last 5 minutes, before you pull those out of the oven, just put this back, the sauce over the, spoon of sauce over the Kievs, and then return it back to the oven for 5 minutes. And there you go with another easy dish. Okay, by this time you people are probably a little bit confused and getting a little bit discouraged, so I guess it's time for a little bit of fun. So for all you big game hunters, we're going to cook up some moose steaks. Now, I've got some moose tenderloins, but first I think I better get rid of the hat because I can't see anymore and it's a little hot. So we'll put that down on the shelf down below, and what we're going to make this time is some moose tenderloins in a wine sauce with some mushrooms. Okay, what I did was I took a nice big tenderloin, and first of all, to cheat those people that think they're getting a nice big shot or a nice big piece of meat, take and cut that meat at an angle. That makes it look bigger. Then you're just going to coat it in flour. This is a real simple one. You're just going to get the flour. Then what you were looking for is all those brown bits that are on the bottom of the frying pan. That's what's going to give us a base for our sauce for this one. Then we're going to add a little bit of mushrooms and a little bit of wine. Now you don't want to put these pieces real close together, otherwise they have a tendency to stew rather than fry. Okay, now just want to get them nice and brown. Now when that blood starts coming through, that's a good little tip for cooking a steak. When you're cooking a steak over a grill or something and the blood starts to come through on one side, then turn it over. And when the blood starts to come through on the other side, then that's a good indication that it's a good chance that it's medium. Okay, now we'll just do this. Flip them over a little bit. Like I say, you want to get them nice and brown. So we'll put a couple more on there. Oh, we'll take this cartilage off. We don't need that. And you can do this with elk. You can do it with moose. You can do it with venison. Any large game. And they can also do it with pork or beef tenderloins. I've used pork chops. It doesn't matter. It's pretty versatile here. You don't have to worry about that. We're just going to let these fry for a little bit. And then we're going to transfer them back to that plate. Then we'll add some cut up mushrooms. Add a little bit of wine, and we'll have our sauce. Okay, so these are done. We've cooked them about medium. Just take them off the plate. Boy, they're smelling good. I can hardly wait to bite into one of these. There we go. Then, we're going to chop up a couple mushrooms. We'll let that one cook a little bit. It's got a little bit to go yet. What we'll do, take a couple mushrooms, real simple. They can go like this. Now you can use fresh mushrooms, which I'm doing here, or you can use canned mushrooms. Fresh ones are pretty nice. We're just going to add that to there. Make sauce. Boy, we're going to have a good meal. Now this is one of the last dishes you'll be doing. You'll be doing this just before you take out the trout and get everything ready to cook, put on side there and look delicious. Okay, there's a couple mushrooms. Take this out. Now we'll take a little bit of wine. I'm using a red wine here. First of all, though, I think I've got a little bit too much grease in. I'm just going to take that. I'm just going to pour that over here. There we go. And we're going to take a little bit of wine. What we want to do is just get all those brown bits from the bottom there to make us a gravy. There we go. And just scrape it around. It's giving us our gravy, the sauce for our gravy. Boy, that looks good and smells good. Oh, you might want to reduce the heat a little bit. Don't want it all to boil away. There we go. We'll add a little bit more. I've added about half a cup. There we go. Now we'll add some mushrooms. Let them cook a couple seconds. And then just let that simmer for about 5 minutes. Okay, so we're just going to let them saute. That's what I did. A little bit of sauce. And we're going to return these back in here for a second. All the juices that have come out. Make sure you don't burn your hands. The pans are hot. Boy, that looks good. And you can add some onions to this if you want. I just preferred not to. Okay. They're all heated. There. I'll just put that on the plate. And there. There's for you big game hunters. That's a nice little different recipe. I know you can fry a steak and I know you can fry a chop, but here's something a little bit different. Okay, now this is one of the last items you'll be making. Now this is a skewer, and it's also a good hand stabber because the way my guests are, they come around and they're picking all the time. So I take it and I use it for a weapon because they're always digging into my food and everything else. So what we're going to do is we're going to make shish kebabs. Okay, first of all, we'll put a piece of bacon on there. That adds a little bit of flavor. And then we're going to take a piece of meat. I've got venison steak here, about 3/4 of an inch thick. And I'm going to put it on like that. You can cut the bacon in strips about 1.5 inches, 2 inches long, but I like to take them and wrap them. Then I'm going to take a piece of onion and cover that. Now the onions are going to get a little burnt on the edges when you can broil these or you can put them on your barbecue grill. I love putting them on the barbecue. That's what we're going to do with these. Then you can take a tomato and another piece of meat. Oh, we got 2 there. I guess we don't need 2. And then wrap that bacon around there again. And put a green pepper. These are looking good. Okay, then take another piece of meat and a mushroom. But now watch these mushrooms, kind of put them in whatever way the skewer is. If the skewer is pointed, kind of put it in sideways and easy because that might split that mushroom. So take it nice and gentle. There you go. Got it on there. Then we'll put another piece of onion on there. Another piece of bacon. Start it on. Then we'll go with another piece of meat. Wrap that bacon around there. Then we'll add a tomato. Put that bacon over there. Give that bacon a little flavor. Another piece of onion. Another piece of meat. Put that bacon up there again. Another mushroom. I'll put another piece of meat on there. And you can alternate this all kinds of ways. If you're doing this with beef or pork, you can put them both on there. That's kind of a nice way. I like to do that in the summertime. When the game supply is getting a little bit low, I use a lot of beef and pork. And we can, let's see. Let's put another onion on there. And we'll put another green pepper. And then we'll stick a tomato on there. And a mushroom on the end. How's that look, huh? There we go. Now doesn't that look nice? Appetizing? We'll take that and we'll put it under the broiler, turn it about 3 times, maybe 4 times, and like I said, your edges of your onions will probably get a little bit crisp, the edges of the green peppers will probably get a little bit crisp, but you want that meat done. So you just take that, put it, like I say, put it under your broiler, put it out on the barbecue. I'm going to put these on the barbecue and it'll be one of the last items we're going to serve on this menu tonight. Okay, I've showed you people how to prepare these meals now and how to debone those northern trout. I hope you enjoy them as much as I do and my guests do. Well, we'll see you next time. Thank you very much.